In today's video, I would like to discuss with you what it takes to be a successful real estate agent in 2026. Let me share with you what I have done so far in my last 9 years as a realtor and what I believe you should do to be able to take your career to the next level. So let's take a look at this one. I highly recommend door knocking 3 hours a day. And I know it sounds crazy and it seems to be very time consuming. But as a brand new realtor or an agent who has been doing this for quite some time, including myself, you need to go back to the basics. What works? When you're knocking on doors, you're actually introducing yourself as a real estate agent, as a professional working in the area. That's it. You don't want to try to sell them on anything. You just want to be able to have a conversation, to introduce yourself. Hey, my name is Vadim Vilensky. I work in the area. Would you like to know what the value of the home is? That's it. You're not trying to sell them, hey, when do you plan on moving? When are you planning and how soon do you need to be? Like that Mike Ferry scripts, they don't really work. What you're trying to do is having conversations, really meaningful conversations, and just introduce yourself and be a friend. Try to add value to their lives. So what I do is I tend to do door knocking from 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock at noon, or sometimes 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The reason why, I do know that majority of my conversations are usually in the morning. I have the most amount of energy. And this to me, after doing it for many, many years, trying to figure out what the best time is to be outside and speaking to people. That's the best time. It doesn't really matter if it's in the morning, afternoon, evening, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're outside having conversations. My goal every single day is to try to at least have 20 conversations with people. Not about the weather, not about some other political events, just purely real estate conversations. Trying to figure out what's their intentions. Are they planning on staying there for a while? Are they planning on moving at some point? This is what you're trying to achieve by door knocking. The other thing that I highly recommend, and I personally do it myself, is open houses. Going back to the basics works, especially in a market like this. And the reason why I tend to do 2 open houses a weekend is I don't work on Saturday, so I do work on a Sunday. What I try to do is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. one open house. I take a small break, and then I'm having another open house from 2 to 4. What I do in the meantime, and this is something that you have to remember, and I will highly, highly encourage you to do, is start knocking on doors. So let's say, for example, you have a listing. You want to knock on their doors on the left side, on the right side, across the street. You want to make sure that you invite the potential sellers. Imagine this. This is the one. This is important. You're selling a house, which is great for you, but you want to introduce yourself to everyone else in the same neighborhood as much as you can. So I usually take 1 hour. I go out, I introduce myself. I say, hey, my name is Vadim. I will be having an open house at your neighbor's house. Please feel free to come by. The reason why I do it is that you just never know if there is going to be a potential seller after this sale. And I really believe, and if I'm looking at all the stats, I do know that there is always another seller once a home is sold. So you want to be the person that introduces yourself without trying to sell them, without like, hey, by the way, who do you know who is looking to move to the area? No, just do an introduction, introduce yourself, and invite them to come check out the home. That's it. Yes, it seems like it's a noisy neighbor, but no, to me, this is a potential another seller. Then I do another open house 2 to 4. And a question that I get all the time is, what if I don't have listings? How do I do open houses? Very easy. You go to the MLS, you look up whatever area you're specializing in or trying to specialize in. You go into this area and you reach out to other real estate agents who have the listings. Try to get the fresh listings, the listing that just came on the market, listings that are with 0 days up to 15 days on the market, and try to say to the agent, hey, can I work the open house on your behalf? Can I introduce myself and get potential new buyers to come in? There are some listing agents that don't want to do open houses, and I get it. Not everyone wants to spend their weekend doing open houses, but you as a new agent, as a junior agent, I definitely recommend doing it, and there is a big value in actually building your database. But remember this, if you are not keeping track of all the people that are coming in and you're not adding them to the CRM, those are missed opportunities. And what do I mean by that? For example, I have a follow-up boss. It's a CRM that I let everyone, whoever comes in, they need to provide me with their information, their name, their phone number, their email address. For security reasons, obviously, you have to have it. And then secondly, what I'm using it to actually build my database. So by doing open houses, and you have at any given open house, you have 5, 10, 15, 20 families coming through, buyers and sellers, it doesn't really matter, but there are people that are coming through. You want to be able to collect their information and be able to retarget them in the future. It is very important. If you're doing an open house and you're not collecting the information, guess what? Those are missed opportunities. So make sure you implement the CRM right away. Then the other thing that I have been doing and I will continue doing as we progress with the real estate business is cold calling. You want to be able to reach out to potential homeowners and reach out to them in a sense that you're not trying to call them and ask or beg for their business. All you're doing is, hey, by the way, we have just listed the home down the street from you. Who do you know who would like to move to the area? That's it. You're trying to create a conversation. You're not trying to ask, hey, when do you plan on moving? And how soon will it be? The Mike Ferry script, unfortunately, in my opinion, and I took Mike Ferry coaching, so don't get me wrong, I just feel it's very harsh. It's very cold. You aren't trying to create a conversation. You're trying to introduce yourself. Hey, my name is Vadim Vilensky. I work in the area and I have a listing right now in the market. Who do you know who would like to move to the area? And you're creating a conversation. You never want to have a conversation with a yes and no answer. You're trying to create a conversation. I tend to do cold calling from 3 to 5 p.m. Sometimes I even do from 4 to 7 p.m. because usually people are arriving from home, depending if it's winter or summer. But the key is to have conversations. Not about the weather, not about the sports. Conversation, something to do with the real estate. That's the way conversation that you would like to have. And the other thing that I highly, highly recommend for you in order for you to become a successful real estate agent in 2026 will be to run Meta and Google ads. I know that it sounds like, oh my God, how do I do it? And I'm going to hire a company. You're overthinking it. And then by the time you thought about it, you already forgot about it. The idea is nowadays there's so much information on YouTube that you can really learn how to run brand awareness ads. All you need to do is run an ad with $10 to $15 a day. Nothing special, nothing crazy, but you're trying to generate interest. If you're already door knocking, you're cold calling, you're doing open houses, now imagine if you're running an ad and you control the area that the ad is actually being seen, whether it's a mile or 2 miles or 3 kilometers, it doesn't really matter. As long as the ad is in the same area, I call it a farm, as long as you're focusing on the same farm, that's the most important. Because if you're trying to do an ad and it's shown to like thousands or millions of homes, it doesn't really matter, you're not seeing. What you need to do is you need to target a small area so that they can be exposed to it. And imagine, you're door knocking, you're doing open houses, you're doing cold calling, and then now you're running also ads, all in the same area. I promise you, you will become an amazing real estate agent in 2026. And it doesn't really matter if you're brand new or you have been doing it for many, many years. I myself been doing it for 9 years now. I'm going back to the basics and asking myself, okay, what actually got me to this point? What do I need to do now to continue becoming and more developing my skills? It is going back to the basics. That's my advice. Have an amazing 2026.